We live? We live? Are we? Yes, we're live. Welcome in, welcome in, welcome in. If you didn't know, I'm about to tell you. This is me, Sky, and this is another edition, inculcation. That's not the right word. Anyways, this is a new edition of Scattered Thoughts for this week. This is our second edition of Lightfall, the new expansion. Really excited. The last one was a little bit long. Don't fault me. I think there's some good stuff in there. And also, if you notice, as I said before, these videos actually lead into the longer form content. And so, thank you for everyone who commented and offered feedback or just offered their thoughts, as that actually went into my first impressions video. So, it's a community. We do this together. So, this is just a format where I give you some scattered thoughts, just what's on top of my mind. Sometimes this turns into a longer form video. Sometimes this turns into like a breakdown video, walkthrough video. Sometimes we just rant. And so today is more of a question day, for those who are more familiar with the question days that I have. Mm, yeah, truly. So, a question in like the truest sense of the word. I'm really curious as we are about to head into the raid. New raid, interesting time. I was about to say it's a great time, but it's an interesting time in the community. I actually talked about this on Twitter a little bit, but it's like this dual-edged sword. It's like for me, one of the most exciting times in the community, right? Because literally it's like Christmas Day, or whatever holiday you experience, or your birthday, or whatever it is, right? Just pinnacle day, LOL Pinnacles. But it's this pinnacle day where everyone gathers together. I usually am at work. And just like, normally I'm going to be at work because, I can't call off. Or I just signed the days to call off. Anyways, enough about me. But, people around the globe, right? Like people, and because again, that's also the beauty of this game. I've gamed with people in Australia. I was just gaming with someone doing some Defiant Battlegrounds, the new Lightfall activity, with a Guardian from Germany, like people from the West Coast, the East Coast, everywhere, right? Uh, and it's this global moment where we come together. And, people figure out this new raid or new dungeon, right? A new dungeon as well, but dungeons are um, a little bit lower difficulty in terms of day one experiences. But either way, I'm getting off track. The main thing being that it's this great experience on one end where like people are coming together, people maybe you haven't seen stream or create content in a while come back together, or you see like teams, teams that, competed like 3 years ago, they kind of dust off the keyboard and come back. And, so there's a lot of like redemption arc stories, or a lot of, people on top trying to keep their role stories, all those things. And so it's a really engaging time. And also it's just new content, right? So new content, we get to learn it, and it's a great experience. One of the things that I am, I said dreading, and I feel like dreading is the most appropriate word, but I am dreading. Once again, on another day one, week one experience of having a new activity in the game, and then having the elitists, just toxic people, just the people who are like the second day, you better have 20 clears. How do I have 20 clears on contest mode? Like, for me, there continues to be a question of why this is part of the culture, and like, well, like, do folks really understand where it's coming from? Like for me, there's just a lot of connected to it, because how do we have something that's really, like, honestly, like, such a beautiful experience, right? Uh, uh, new, literally, no one else knows about this, as far as we know, unless somebody's cheating and they've been getting away with it for years. Nobody in the community, besides the Bungie and the devs, know what the encounter is going to be like, what the aesthetic looks like, all this. So again, we're experiencing it fresh, and it's just like this really beautiful, vibrant thing. We're learning encounters together. People are sharing strats, but also peak elitism time. Like, and again, this is not more So talking about like creators, I'm talking about community members who are just very much like, if you don't have 50 clears, you can't get on my fire team. It's just like the raid just came out this week. How was I supposed to get 50 clears? Normal people. No, and again, this is not shame. Everyone has different lives. Some people work from home. Some people are content creation full time. Some people don't have, some people have kids. Everyone has a different life, right? But like realistically, the average person one is not getting 50 raid clears. Because again, I say 50 because like people always like come up with these random numbers like 25 clears. And they'd be like, fam, the raid just came out 2 days ago. Contest mode just stopped 3 hours ago. How was I, like just the phenomenon of people just like taking something, like taking this holiday gift that was so pure and good at one point in time, and then just like stealing it from your younger sibling or something, like just the phenomenon of just like you're taking something that was good and just ruining it for everyone. And again, some people don't have this problem because um they have like consistent fire teams, or they have, yeah, a lot of times with folks like in smaller clans, um they already kind of have systems set up and things like that. But again, I have a clan, great group of people, have no issues there. And I'll probably get some clears there. I have friends that I game with, once we feel comfortable with the mechanics, the group of folks I game with consistently, really trying to like strengthen their, work and grind together so we can strengthen everyone's raid skills. So, that's going to be a good group to raid with. And so it's not like I don't have folks to do these activities with. Just same way like, Aspire the Watcher, right? I had folks that I was able to game with and that I consistently game with, but I still LFG, and there's no shame, there's no reason that we should fault people for LFGing, um, on one end, but on the other end, like when people are LFGing, when people are in these spaces, how do we actually like make these spaces like? I mean, part of it's accessibility, right? Because part of it's like not gatekeeping and like, fam, everyone just learned the mechanic to this encounter 5 hours ago. Stop acting like you know everything, right? Or stop acting like everyone has to be a master of this encounter. I remember Val the Disciple day one. Uh, my original raid team fell through, which was a bummer because I had actually taken off for once. Um, so I just ended up going to work anyways. And while I was at work, I had my Twitch up, and so I had a couple teams I was watching. Um, and then like later, once I got off work, like I tried it again. I found another group of folks, and it was just wild that like, part of it was just like not being with the group of people that I originally wanted to raid with, but two, it was just like when we got to exhibition acquisition. I always mix up the name. But when we got to the relic phase, oh my god, that was so. I mean, granted, like there's bumps in the roads leading up to that, especially caretaker. But just like the name calling, people blaming each other, like all the different things. Like contest mode is a check on all those things. It's a check on your skill set. It's a check on your. It's a damage check. It's a check on your ability to actually communicate effectively. It's a check on accountability. Excuse me. We're live and direct. um, so apologize for clearing my throat here, but it's a check on all those things. It's a check for us as folks who are engaging in this activity to like actually figure it out and be in community with one another. But like people's default is not teamwork. People's default is not when they mess up actually admitting that they mess up. People's default is like, let me point the blame at someone else. Let me just kind of point fingers. Let me, talk trash about it. All these different things. So for me, I have a genuine question about, where do folks think that comes from? Is that like MMO culture? Is that like, I think part of it is gaming culture, in terms of just people just, video game culture isn't always the greatest. But I am wondering, like specifically for this kind of phenomena of these type of moments, like new dungeons, new raids, for me, are such a particular moment where like people are learning something new. It's not like we're getting. It's not like Fortnite and you're getting new skins or you're getting like new content. You're getting this new activity that's going to be in the game for a long time that has mechanics that you've never known before. Everyone's learning these together, all those different things. And people choosing in the first day, the first 48 hours, the first weekend, the first week to be just exclusionary, to be toxic, to just not be kind to each other. Again, are there good groups out there? Absolutely. But as someone who's solo queued, probably still, even though I have a solid fire team, I have a solid clan, I still solo queue a bunch because of my work schedule, right? I can't always like hang with the people I want to game with. And so I still solo queue quite a bit in my Destiny experience and to kind of engage in those things. Think about my Vow to Disciple experience was less than stellar, just to say that. Um, we got the clear the next day, but it was just the fact that like the lack of empathy. Again, I can understand people being tired. People have a limited time to like do. I get that, right? Because I was trying to get the contest mode emblem, but the fact is that like we as a community, and I have to say we because I'm a part of this community, um, aren't always giving space for folks to mess up. Aren't always giving folks space to you know learn things learn by doing. Um, I understand that. I understand those components. I understand those are things we all collectively need to work on. But there's just something there that like this toxic portion of it is continues to baffle me, to say the least. So again, it's a question out to you all. A question that I think I might explore in a longer video. Obviously, there are more pressing videos than this at the time, but uh, yeah, just curious on what folks' thoughts are on what one, what your day one raid experience has been, but two, day one, week one experience with new raids, new dungeons has been, but also, where do you think some of this comes from in terms of the way that people choose to engage with LFGs, being in this like very, I don't know. I use the word toxic. There's other words I could use, but toxic feels like the most broad in order to kind of like name the dynamic of people just not engaging in healthy ways with each other, and just being in a space where it's just like if someone's learning something for the first time and they may not be at the same skill level as you, they may not have the same amount of time to dedicate to it, all those different factors. How do we exist in a space where we allow that to be okay and allow people the space to learn and fail and not screw them over, just be jerks to them? I don't know. Let me know. I'd love to hear your thoughts. And that's all we got for this time. Peace.